What if the very thing you've been warned about your entire life, the thing they told you is dirty, dangerous, or shameful, was actually keeping you alive? This is the untold story of your prostate, and what daily masturbation might really be doing to it. Because somewhere between health class, hushed conversations, and online fear-mongering, a quiet fear was planted. A fear that touching yourself too often might damage something deep inside. Something you can't see, the prostate. That small, walnut-sized gland that no one really talks about until something goes wrong. Maybe you've heard the myths. Too much use causes inflammation. Masturbation wears out the gland. Frequent release leads to cancer. And maybe, like millions of other men, you tucked those warnings away just to be safe. But here's the truth. Most of what you've heard is flat out wrong. In fact, the actual science tells a story so shocking, so unexpected, it flips everything we thought we knew about men's health on its head. Let's get one thing straight. The prostate isn't just a spare part. This gland plays a crucial role in your reproductive system. It sits just beneath the bladder, wrapped around the urethra, and it's responsible for producing the fluid that carries, protects, and nourishes your sperm. Without the prostate, there is no semen. And without semen, there's no delivery system for reproduction. But here's the kicker. As men age, the prostate becomes more vulnerable. Inflammation, enlargement, and yes, cancer. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in men globally. In the US alone, 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime. By age 50, the risk climbs. After 60, it accelerates. And yet, very few men know how to care for this gland. Even fewer know that one of the most natural, instinctual things they do might be quietly protecting them from the inside out. Let's go back. For decades, we've been told that frequent ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, might stress the prostate. That overuse could lead to inflammation or worse. These ideas didn't come from science. They came from outdated moralism, from whispers, from guilt, from fear. But fear doesn't protect you. Facts do. In 2016, the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health released one of the most extensive studies ever done on male sexual health and cancer prevention. The researchers followed nearly 32,000 men over the course of almost 20 years. Their mission, to determine if ejaculation frequency had any impact on prostate cancer risk. The outcome? It stunned the medical world. Men who reported ejaculating 21 times or more per month had up to a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculated only 4 to 7 times monthly. Not 3% lower, not 13. 33%. That's not some fringe correlation. That's a statistical body slam to the old narrative. And it didn't stop there. Other studies, including a major one from Australia, showed the same trend. The more frequent the ejaculation, the lower the risk. So, if frequent ejaculation is associated with a lower risk of prostate cancer, why has no one told you this before? Why has the discussion been buried beneath layers of discomfort and stigma? Why has something potentially protective been framed as harmful? Because we've confused morality with medicine, and we've let shame speak louder than science. But that ends now. Because this isn't about shock value or cheap thrills. It's about helping men like you, fathers, brothers, husbands, understand what your body is asking for and what it may need to stay healthy long term. And it raises a bigger question. What is actually happening inside your body when you ejaculate regularly? Why would a natural act, something humans have done since the dawn of time, offer measurable protection against one of the deadliest cancers in men? What's the mechanism? What's the science? What's the deeper story here? The truth about your prostate is just getting started. So why would something as simple and instinctual as ejaculation have such a dramatic impact on prostate cancer risk? It starts with how the prostate actually works. Inside that small gland is a network of ducts, tiny channels where fluid is produced and stored. That fluid eventually mixes with sperm to form semen. But when ejaculation doesn't happen regularly, those ducts don't get cleared. What builds up is more than just fluid. Old cells, metabolic waste, even potential carcinogens. This is where the first major theory comes in, the prostate stagnation hypothesis. Think of your prostate like a set of pipes in your home. If water flows regularly, those pipes stay clean. But if it sits stagnant for too long, things start to rot. Pressure builds. Contaminants accumulate. Bacteria thrive. Scientists believe that regular ejaculation acts as a flushing mechanism. It clears out the ducts, It removes old cells and potential irritants, and it reduces the chance that those substances will linger, inflame the tissue, or spark the kind of cellular mutations that can eventually lead to cancer. This is the body's own maintenance cycle, and ignoring it may increase the wear and tear on the system. But there's more going on than just plumbing. Another theory centers around cellular turnover. Your body is constantly regenerating. Skin, muscle, even internal tissues like those in the prostate are continuously renewing themselves. Old cells die. New ones take their place. But when turnover slows, or when damaged cells aren't cleared quickly enough, problems start. Frequent ejaculation appears to stimulate healthier cellular renewal in the prostate. It's like encouraging the system to reboot more often. Damaged or abnormal cells are flushed out before they can multiply, and new, healthy cells replace them in a steady cycle. It's a natural rhythm that may be critical to preventing the slow buildup of genetic mutations that spark cancer growth. And there's one more layer: stress. Modern life is a pressure cooker. Chronic stress doesn't just mess with your mood, it messes with your entire body. One of the biggest side effects? Inflammation. Stress hormones like cortisol can increase inflammatory responses throughout the body, including in the prostate. And chronic inflammation is a well-known contributor to cancer risk. Ejaculation, especially through orgasm, is associated with measurable reductions in stress and anxiety. It lowers cortisol. It boosts mood-regulating chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. In other words, it may literally calm the body's internal storm, leading to a more balanced hormonal environment that protects your cells over time. So you're not just blowing off steam. You're potentially lowering the hidden triggers that fuel disease. And yet, this science is rarely talked about. Not in schools, not in doctors' offices, and certainly not in the media.
Why?
Because there's still a stigma. Still this idea that male sexuality is something to be managed, hidden, or pathologized. But the data doesn't lie. What your body naturally wants to do might be more intelligent than we've given it credit for. Let's go back to that Harvard study for a moment. Over the course of 18 years, nearly 32,000 men self-reported their monthly ejaculation frequency. The men who reported 21 or more times a month had a one-third lower risk of developing prostate cancer. And this wasn't limited to any one age group. The protective effect was seen in men in their 20s, 40s, even late 50s. It didn't matter if the ejaculation was from sex or masturbation. The benefit remained. In other words, your body doesn't care about the source. It cares about the result. The release itself appears to offer a systemic benefit, cleansing the ducts, refreshing the cells, lowering inflammation, and restoring balance. Another study from Australia found the same pattern. Men who ejaculated more frequently had lower rates of prostate cancer, and the findings were independent of lifestyle factors like smoking, alcohol use, or physical activity. That tells us this isn't just a coincidence. This is a physiological trend. Still, the takeaway isn't that masturbation is some miracle cure. It's not about chasing numbers or keeping score. It's about recognizing that your biology may be wired for more frequent release than society has conditioned you to believe. And in some cases, depriving your body of that function, either out of shame, fear, or misunderstanding, might be denying it a basic form of protection. There's a difference between reckless behavior and informed self-care. And this is self-care your body might have been asking for all along. So, where does that leave you? You've just learned that regular ejaculation could reduce prostate cancer risk by as much as 33%, that it helps clear harmful buildup, promotes healthier cell cycles, and reduces dangerous inflammation tied to stress. But how does this fit into your bigger health picture? Is ejaculation alone enough to protect your prostate? What other factors matter just as much, or even more? The real secret isn't in the act itself. It's in how it fits into the rest of your life. And that's where we're going next. The truth is, ejaculation is just one part of the equation. Yes, the science is clear. It plays a protective role. But prostate health, like most things in the body, is never about a single factor. It's a system. And systems thrive when the entire environment is optimized. Let's break it down. You now know that ejaculation may help flush harmful substances out of the prostate, that it promotes healthy cellular turnover, that it reduces the stress that fuels inflammation. But what's happening deeper inside your biology that ties all of this together?
Start with hormones.
As men age, testosterone naturally declines. At the same time, estrogen can become more dominant in the male body. And this hormonal shift can influence the growth and behavior of prostate tissue. Some researchers believe that regular ejaculation helps regulate these hormonal rhythms. By keeping the sexual system active, the body maintains a more balanced hormonal feedback loop. It's not a magic bullet, but it may help buffer the swings that become more dramatic after 40. Then there's circulation. The prostate, like any organ, needs healthy blood flow. Poor circulation means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and a slower removal of waste. Physical inactivity, poor diet, and excess abdominal fat can reduce blood flow to the pelvic region. Over time, this stagnation can contribute to inflammation and dysfunction. Regular sexual activity, including masturbation, has been linked to increased pelvic blood flow. It activates the muscles of the pelvic floor. It stimulates nerve activity. It even encourages better vascular response in the region. All of this contributes to a healthier, more responsive prostate. But there's another piece of this puzzle that most people miss: mental health. Men carry stress differently, often silently, chronically. And chronic stress doesn't just affect your mood. It suppresses immune function, alters hormone levels, and keeps the body in a constant low-grade state of inflammation. The prostate is particularly sensitive to these conditions. Studies have found that high levels of emotional stress are linked to a higher risk of prostatitis, a painful inflammatory condition of the prostate, as well as an increased risk of more aggressive forms of prostate cancer. Regular ejaculation is no replacement for therapy or real emotional support, but it does appear to have a measurable impact on mental health markers. Orgasm triggers a cascade of neurochemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, that lower anxiety, improve sleep, and even boost immune function. It's not a fix, but it's part of the body's built-in system for relief. Now, let's talk about the real world. What happens when this science collides with everyday life? You're busy, you're aging, maybe you've got kids. Maybe your libido isn't what it used to be. Maybe sex isn't always accessible, and the idea of masturbation feels complicated. This is where perspective matters. Ejaculation doesn't have to be about performance. It doesn't have to be about fantasy. It doesn't even have to be about sex. It's about health, about maintenance, about supporting the system that supports you. You wouldn't skip brushing your teeth just because you weren't going out that night. The same logic applies here. Your prostate has a function, and functions need to be used to stay strong. But, and this is critical, ejaculation alone won't save you. Think of it as one tool in the toolbox. And that toolbox should include much more. Start with food. A diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats supports overall prostate health. Lycopene, a powerful antioxidant found in tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit, has been linked to reduced prostate cancer risk. Green tea, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, and omega-3s from fatty fish also offer protective benefits. Exercise matters too, not just for your waistline, but for your hormones, your immune system, and your circulation. Men who stay active have lower rates of aggressive prostate cancer and better outcomes if they're diagnosed. Then there are the avoidable risks. Smoking and heavy alcohol use have both been linked to increased cancer rates across the board, including the prostate. And above all, routine medical care. Nothing replaces a conversation with a doctor who understands your history. For men over 40, especially those with a family history of prostate issues, regular screenings like the PSA blood test are the most effective way to catch problems early. Early detection saves lives. Full stop. So, where does this leave us? Ejaculation, including masturbation, isn't a problem. It's not dirty. It's not shameful. It's a natural, powerful part of male biology. And when it's understood through the lens of science, not stigma, it becomes something entirely different. Not a secret, not a vice, a partner in long-term health. And when you combine that with smart nutrition, movement, clean living, and proactive care, you build a foundation that goes way beyond survival. You build strength, resilience, and control. But how do you put it all together? What exactly should you be doing week to week, month to month, to keep your prostate healthy for the long haul? That's what comes next. Now that you know the truth, what do you actually do with it? Because knowledge means nothing if it doesn't lead to action. And when it comes to your prostate, action today could be the difference between a healthy future or a silent, slow-building problem that catches you off guard later. This is your blueprint, your prostate health toolbox. And it starts with the one thing no one expected to be here: ejaculation. Whether through sex or masturbation, regular ejaculation around 21 times per month has been associated with up to a 33% reduction in prostate cancer risk. That's not theory. That's based on hard science from one of the most trusted institutions in the world. But don't turn it into a quota. You're not a machine. You're a human being. The goal isn't to chase numbers. It's to understand what your body responds to and use that awareness to stay in balance. So, here are 5 science-backed actions you can start today. Maintain a healthy ejaculation rhythm. This isn't about pressure. It's about flow. Aim for consistency, not excess. If you're in a relationship, communicate openly. If you're not, understand that solo release is not just normal, it might be beneficial. Let go of outdated guilt. Listen to your body. Eat for your prostate. Build your meals around nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods. Tomatoes for lycopene. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines for omega-3s. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. Green tea. Pumpkin seeds. These aren't trendy. They're clinically supported. They create a biochemical environment that discourages the growth of cancer cells and reduces chronic inflammation. Move your body daily. You don't need a personal trainer or a CrossFit membership. Just commit to 30 minutes of movement a day. Walk briskly. Lift weights. Cycle. Stretch. Physical activity helps regulate hormones, improve circulation, and prevent weight gain, all crucial factors in maintaining prostate health. Cut the obvious toxins. Smoking and heavy drinking sabotage your system. They inflame tissue, disrupt hormone balance, and increase cancer risk. There's no benefit here, only damage. If quitting feels too big, start by reducing. Get support. Trade short-term relief for long-term protection. See your doctor regularly, especially if you're over 40 or have a family history of prostate issues. Make screening non-negotiable. Ask about PSA blood tests, digital rectal exams, hormone panels. Knowledge is power, and early detection is one of the few things that dramatically improves survival rates. Don't wait for symptoms. Be proactive. You might be wondering, do these steps really work together? Here's the answer. Absolutely. Because they don't act in isolation. Each of these actions supports the others. Ejaculation clears the ducts. Food lowers inflammation. Exercise balances your hormones. Quitting smoking protects your DNA. Screenings catch what the others miss. This isn't about fear. It's about control. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just make smarter choices more often. And it starts by reframing the way you see yourself. Not as a man reacting to problems, but as a man actively building his future. Let's talk legacy. Men often wait until something breaks to pay attention. But prostate issues don't usually scream. They whisper. A little discomfort, a small change in flow, a subtle fatigue you chalk up to age. And then one day, a doctor delivers news you never expected. That's what we're avoiding. That's why this matters now. Because what you do in your 30s and 40s sets the stage for your 50s, 60s, and beyond. And yes, ejaculation is a part of that equation. Not the only part, but a real, measurable piece. For too long, this topic has been locked behind shame, misinformation, and silence. Men were taught to feel bad about something their body was designed to do. Taught to suppress, ignore, or hide one of the most fundamental biological functions they have. But when you strip away the stigma and look at the science, a different story emerges. Not only is regular ejaculation not dangerous, it might actually be essential. Essential for flushing out harmful substances. Essential for reducing cancer risk. Essential for regulating hormones, managing stress, and protecting your long-term health. It's not a problem. It's part of the solution. Now it's your move. Start with a conversation with your doctor, with your partner, or even with yourself. Make one change this week, then another next week. Build momentum. Reclaim this part of your health without guilt, without confusion, and without hesitation. You're not just preserving a gland. You're protecting your quality of life, your energy, your confidence, your future. Leave a comment if this changed the way you think about your body. Let us know what myths you want busted next. And don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered, science-backed truth every man needs to hear. Because your health doesn't wait. And now, you don't have to either.